What's up, guys? My name is Doug. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, welcome back. If you're not new, I'm very happy to see you guys here again today, as we are going to be listening to Slime and B by Chris Brown and Young Thug. A very unexpected duo, honestly. Never thought that these two would link up to do a full project together. You know, I guess I can't say I'm excited or anything like that. Like, I'm not going to be going into this with super high expectations because, like I said, this is a very weird combo in my opinion. And so I don't want to come in with my expectations too high and be disappointed. I'm just going to take whatever they give me and see where we go from there. You know, see whether I like it or not, see whether I find some of these tracks enjoyable enough to go onto my playlist. I was considering doing a my favorites video on this one and just listening to my favorite tracks off the project, but I feel like it's worth a first listen, a full reaction, you know, on camera. So I'm sure those of you that are fans of this project can appreciate that. Before we get right into it, I do want to plug the Patreon a bit, because the Patreon and the memberships on YouTube allow me to kind of crowdfund the different ideas that I have for different segments, different types of videos, different, you know, equipment and things like that for the channel, and it allows me to execute and perform all of those, and it really helps me to get these videos out to you guys as fast as possible, as often as possible. You know, sometimes I post 5 or more videos in a single week. I'm trying to get these like 4 videos out within 2 days, by the way, because I don't want to do any work on Sunday. It's Mother's Day and it's my birthday, so I'm sure you guys can appreciate that as well. So yeah, those are just the 2 main ways to support the channel, but there's also subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, sharing them, following the social media. You know, for anybody that doesn't feel like supporting monetarily, or for anybody that simply can't, because I know times are tough, you can also do that, and I appreciate those things just as much, to be honest, because it's because of people like you guys who have been rocking with the channel for so long that I'm able to hit, you know, 15,000 subscribers and more. So just thank you so much for all the support that you've shown to the channel. And with that said, let's go into it. I don't want to waste too much of your time. So the first track is Say You Love Me. I'm not a big fan of the beat, you know. I don't think that Chris Brown really fits with the style that he brings on beats like this. And also, I'm not a fan of the beat in general. I think that it's not as good as something that Young Thug could actually get his hands on. You know, Young Thug kind of went really understated on this track. It really was an underwhelming intro to the project. You know, you never want to start off weak. So, yeah, man, I'm just not a fan of the beat, and I don't think that Chris Brown's R&B style fits with this kind of like darker trap kind of beat. This one specifically, you know, I'm sure that there are other beats out there that he could definitely do what he did this on them, but I can't speak English. Yeah, just kind of a weak opener, but we'll keep going. Next track is Go Crazy. Tell me if you with it, 'cause I'm with it, babe. Everything you do is amazing. Ain't nobody got to go crazy. I'm crazy. I can tell you love it when we made up. Like your eyes kinda lazy, my tears real. This one's actually pretty fire. Yeah, it's a catchy little tune, you know. It's got a little happy, upbeat beat on it. You know, they give solid performances. Young Thug manages to modify his approach to really fit on this kind of like trap soul kind of production. You know, it's not dark trap or anything like that. It's a little more upbeat and melodic, and you know, he fits pretty well on this one. So it's not a bad track at all. It's kind of what I would expect, just like a summertime jam kind of track. It's nothing too crazy. Next track is Trap Back featuring Major 9. Trap back, jumping on baby, I'm running. Baby, hit bottom, she feel like she in the sky. But trap back, jumping on one. Cause I really got the dopest out of dopest. It make them all focus. She riding around hopeless. Trap back, jumping on one again. Nothing. When you got my phone, drugs in the sky. Red bottom, right, red bottom. This is fire. I like this one. Trap back, jumping on one again. Nothing. That's great. That one's fire. I like that production. I like that smooth little guitar going on in the background. The drum pattern's got a really unique bounce to it. I think that Chris Brown is absolutely ridiculously smooth on this track. And Young Thug didn't do anything too crazy. He didn't do it like one of those really high-pitched, like changing his voice into really weird ways performances. He just gave us something really smooth, really relaxed, like laid back. And it's just a really cool vibe, you know? It's got a really cool bounce to it. It's not generic. It doesn't sound necessarily very formulaic. It's got an interesting hook. So I like that. That one's pretty dope. That one made it onto my playlist.
I wanna make love with you, see me in a listed bar. I got time, yeah, I got time.
This one rides too.
Love letters go to you.
That little guitar plucking is really cool, man. Young Thug, man.
I got a sign, bring it on green, yeah.
Chorus is really cool, man. Chris Brown's always gonna have some really catchy hook going on, man. And always a really cool performance too. Very energetic and stuff like that. Young Thug kind of slid in here, man. Really smooth too. Really cool little triplet flow to start us off, switching up his cadence a little bit towards the middle of his verse. Chad the God also, he gave us some really cool little like smooth performance. This is not a great track at all, but it rides for sure. It's got a little catchy vibe to it. Some people will like that one more than others. To me, it's good. She Bumped Her Head featuring Gunna. This is hard.
Yeah, my niggas do it for me. I never shop one.
This one's a little faster paced. It's got a really like dark energy to it. It's got a very solid Gunna feature on here. Young Thug's verse is very weird and eccentric as always. Chris Brown's got some really smooth performance towards the end. Chris Brown has a tendency to do like a whole lot of riffs and runs, and he's very vocally skilled, and so that's kind of what he wants to do. But this track just doesn't really lend itself very well to that, I think. But still a decent verse from Chris Brown on the end there. Not a bad track, it's kind of got a very I like these faster BPM, tracks, especially when they have like really heavy bass like this one. It's a fun track to listen to. This track was made for Chris Brown. That was smooth, transitioning into the chorus. Yeah, this track is too long. 5 minutes and 30 seconds for a trap track featuring Young Thug and Gunna and Lil Duke is too much, man. Keep these tracks at like a maximum of 3 minutes and 30, maybe 4 minutes, and you should be fine. But 5:30 is too much. It's catchy enough, Chris Brown had the best verse on here, I think. It was the most fun to listen to. All the other ones were kind of falling flat a little bit, like they were just being very predictable in their flows and their cadences and how they approach the track. And this track is good, but it's forgettable. It's nothing too special. It's not one of these standout songs off the project. You know what I mean? So, not bad. It's also not great.
When I try to walk away, like I ain't try. Oh, no. Call me walking, talking past the baby. Slamming down and saying the beat. And they never try to play hide and seek,
Yeah, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know how I feel about these island tracks. It's got to be a very special one to catch my attention and keep me invested in it, because for the most part, they're just not really my vibe. They're not really the tracks that I enjoy listening to that much. And, this one kind of fell flat a little bit. It kind of felt boring, to be honest. Yeah, that one's definitely not one of my favorites. Not one of my favorites. Next track is Animal. Where has this energy been, the entire project, just waiting for something that's like, special, a performance that is captivating, a performance that is energetic, a performance that sounds exciting, something that sounds like they're invested in the music that they're making, and they're just not pumping out a bunch of tracks that they want, to be hits. They're not pumping out these formulaic, generic tracks, you know what I mean? Like already here, we have energy, there's a different, feeling to it. It's something that's hard to describe sometimes, and you just feel it in a track when the artists are into it themselves, and that's what this sounds like already to me. Yo, when Chris Brown catches a flow, man, it's over. This great. I don't even need to hear Young Thug. Background vocals. This is what we need. A whole project full of that is what we need, you know? I don't want the throwaways. Give me, even if your project ends up being like 4 tracks long, and those are the only 4 tracks that you're genuinely excited about, give me those 4 tracks. And have it be a short album. But give me 4 bangers, dude. Give me 4 tracks you're excited about, 4 tracks that have that vibe that you guys caught in the studio, and you were like, yeah, this is it. You're not just pumping out a bunch of throwaways. This is what I need. You know, this right here was great. Probably my favorite track so far. Can't say enough good things about this one. Even Young Thug came in a little underwhelming, but he went an octave up in a way that I thought he wouldn't. And he kept his verse nice and short because he knows this is a Chris Brown song. And he did his thing. I'm not gonna lie. So this is a great track. I like that one. Next track is City Girls. This isn't a Young Thug track at all. This is gonna be a Chris Brown song featuring Young Thug for sure.
We got a reason I can stay home. Pretty little thing for me to wait on. Get in my face and I can take it. FaceTime makes me anxious. We going city after city.
Let's go. Young Thug is going in, bro. Honestly, it is like I said, it's a Chris Brown track featuring Young Thug, but Young Thug killed it way more than I expected him to. I will say that, to his credit. He managed to fit in with this track way better than I expected him to, man. That was a really solid performance from Young Thug, and Chris Brown just destroyed it, man. Seriously, this is a very strong 2-track run. Animal and City Girls are exactly what I'm looking for. If I hear Chris Brown and Young Thug collaboration, this is what I'm looking for, man. You know, Animal and City Girls are top notch from these two. So that's another one that made it onto my playlist. You know, that one was great as well. Awesome energy, a slower vibe than Animal, but still they both killed it for sure. Got me excited about this collab, which is awesome. So next track is Stolen. Man, why'd they have to pick that kick? There's no oomph to it, you know? There's no punch to the kick. Like, you can hear it and it's clean. It sounds clean. There's no punch to it, you know? It's not heavy. And I think that a little bit of heaviness to that kick would have really made it sound a lot better on this track. I'm being nitpicky, and I know that. But these are the types of things that I pay attention to when I listen to music, you know? And a snare or a kick will absolutely keep me from listening to a track ever again if I don't like it, you know? I Fall Apart by Post Malone. Disgusting snare. Disgusting. I listened to it one time. After that, the only time I've ever heard it was in the background while other people were listening to it, and it always annoys me. So I wish they chose a different kick for this track. I mean, besides me not liking the kick, like that aside, this track really isn't very memorable as well. Like, it's decent, but it's definitely not catching my attention like Animal or City Girls, you know what I mean? It's just, this one's one of the weaker ones, you know? This one just doesn't sound so great in my opinion. Undrunk featuring Too Short and E40.
She fucked up. We wish that we damn bust that thing out. Show me how you bust that thing out. Time like a halo. They'll shut down this block if I say so. For the pesos, take a shot, shoot it up. Hickory dickory dock. She do freaky.
Straight up disrespectful, man. The fact they would put this on a project, on a professionally recorded, mixed and mastered project, is disrespectful to the listener.
I throw a bitch in the air and pick her before she hit the ground. When I was in elementary.
Yeah, man. Let's never talk about that track ever again, please. Let's just never mention it. Don't mention it in the comment section. Don't mention it in other videos. Don't mention it ever again. I'm gonna hide it. It's gonna be the first track ever on Spotify that I hide. You know, you have the option to hide it from a track list. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna never listen to it again, and I'm never gonna talk about it again. And this is the last thing that I'm gonna say about it. It's trash. No Such Thing as Next featuring Hoodie Baby.
Fat fly nigga, real drink sipper. 100,000 Vegas with her, I'm thinking about the brick. And if you coming by yourself, I'ma dip. Cause I'm
Now let me touch it, let me rub it. Lady, niggas spending money on that purse, that's my niggas talking. I'm super smooth off them perks, got me moonwalking. Got too many drinks, follow me and now I'll tell you why.
Leave it to Chris Brown to save this song, man. Seriously, it was super weak at the beginning. It was super weak, and I was about to say that until he started singing the chorus, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this that I'm missing. I might just skip, into like 40 seconds in every time I listen to this one. It's a good track. It's a good track because of Chris Brown. The last track on this project is Help Me Breathe featuring Future.
to my knees. Begging you, please. Mommy, yes, I know, man. Someone call her out for surgery on me. I see I'm on certain. Fall on my knees. Breathe, baby. You have to breathe. These magic Cubans on beats, making it hard for you to leave. Pocket pills, cameras, not professional designer on one surface. I let you hit two cups.
It's a smooth track. It's a smooth Young Thug and Future track. If I'm gonna have Young Thug and Future on a song, though, I would like it to be harder hitting and not so smooth and laid back to kind of close us out. It's not very memorable. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. It's just expectations. You see the Future feature and you're like, oh man, Future, Young Thug, Chris Brown. It's gonna be here, and it was here. So that's really the issue with this project, with this track. But the project as a whole, man, like I said, I didn't set the bar very high because I had no idea what to really expect from a Chris Brown and Young Thug combo. And so going in with my expectations kind of low, I was pleasantly surprised by some of these songs. I will say, they managed to fit together better than I expected on most of these songs. And we did get some very great tracks like Trap Back, Animal, and City Girls that were just too good for me not to put on my playlist. So I'm happy about that I did manage to take something from the project that was ridiculously fire in my opinion. But for the most part, the tracks are good, good collaborations, fun songs to listen to, but they're not extremely memorable. And I don't see myself going, you know what I want to listen to? Slime and B. I don't see myself doing that. It is one of those projects that I'm like, you know what? I'm about to wash dishes or vacuum or something like that. I'll just put this on in the background and let it play out because it's very easy to listen to. It's not a hard project to listen to. None of the tracks are bad except for that E41. I mentioned it again and I said I wasn't going to. I had to, sorry. So it's very easy to just kind of sit through and let them all play out and stuff like that. But it's not something that you want to go like, I want to listen to this project. It's one of those like background vibe albums. But it's not terrible. It's not bad. I would say it's decent. If I had to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 5, And yeah, those are my thoughts on it. First time around, If I end up listening to it again and liking it more, I'll be sure to update you guys in the comment section. I'll pin a new comment there. But for the most part, this project is just, it's okay. It's not bad. So thank you all so much for watching the video. Be sure to support the channel any way that you see fit. I'm going to be back in another video very soon. So expect that. Until then, stay safe, take care of your families, appreciate your loved ones, and I'm wishing you guys all the best. Peace out.